I'm here with my guy Turkish. Just seen Arsenal drawing away to Everton 1-1. Do you think, Turkish, that this was a kind of microcosm of where we've been at all season? We've gone a goal up, we've let them back into it, and we've not scored, the goals to win the game. When you consider we had, 70+% possession, X amount of shots on goal, something like 14 shots on goal to their 5, and yet we still couldn't win. Do you think that this game is in many ways a microcosm of Arsenal's season?
Yeah, a bit of the same, really. Dominated possession, controlled proceedings, but off the back of it, could probably say 1-1 isn't the unfairest of results. Because the second half, the second half was very poor on our front. And I'm sure you're going to ask me about the penalty, but aside from that, we didn't do enough.
What penalty?
You're going to ask me about it. We didn't do enough to win the game in the second half, especially after the changes we made at half time. It seemed like Saka and Martinelli coming on was because we're 1-0 up. There's going to be space inevitably that Everton need to get back in the game. Let's bring our two best wingers on, give them 45, stretch their legs a bit. It didn't turn out like that. So yeah, in hindsight, I just look at the game and think I didn't care too much about the result. It was more about the performance. And I just didn't get either.
Yeah. So, I would tend to agree. Some of the players didn't perform at their optimum levels. Do you think that might have been, though, because they've kind of got, even though they would never admit it publicly, but they kind of got one eye on the game on Tuesday. Nobody wants to get injured. Nobody wants to overstretch themselves. Do you think that might have had a bearing on the performance?
Nah, because you said it. I mean, all season it's been similar. So unless all season they've had one eye on Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, then I have to disagree. I think it's a bit of the same old, and that's kind of my gripe over the last 5-6 games is I wanted to see something different. I wanted to see, I think Mourinho up top came in 6-7 games ago, and we kind of got not balanced there, but we understood what it's going to be there from now on. The midfield, we failed to adjust that and get it ticking like it needs to be ticking before Real Madrid, in my opinion. So as much as the attack has been a problem, Mourinho stepped up, it's still a problem. The midfield has been a problem that we failed to even address.
Yeah. And we might as well talk about the defence. Obviously, the world knows now Gabriel out injured. Kivior's come in. He actually got man of the match today. How do you think he played?
It was all right. At first, I thought he could have got the ball that led to the penalty, but it did seem like it was a bit too high for him. But, he was all right. Didn't really... I don't think Everton tested us enough for me to say, he had a performance where, he solidified his place for Real Madrid. I'd probably lean towards Ben White.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned that on a watch-along. I've got to say, I disagree. Personally, I think Ben White, although I'm a big admirer of him as a player, I still think he's a little way off what he normally is. I think he's, in that phase where he's, trying to adjust to the intensity and pace of the game. So I would probably have gone with Kivior for Tuesday, but you think Ben White?
Yeah, I just trust him more. You say he's some way off. I think Kivior is some way off being... for different reasons. Right. So either is a risk. Kivior because of quality, Ben White because of game time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if we're talking about in terms of ability as a player, then there's no question that Ben White, to me anyway, is a better player. But to me, he does look a little way off his best. And I think the game on Tuesday is such a big game. I don't think the manager can afford to make that risk.
It's a risk with Kivior, though. So either is a risk. Yeah. He's going to go Kivior. So be it. It's not going to... Well, I was about to say it's not going to define it. It might define it. But at the end of the day, you play Ben White, a similar risk is still there. And is he ready to go up against Real's attack? It's the same questions for Kivior for me. Is he ready to go up against Real's attack for different reasons?
Okay, I hear that. Right, so let's get to it then. It's obviously the major talking point of this particular game. Everton's penalty, in my view, very controversial. For me, no way was that a penalty. But I understand that you may feel a little bit different. Explain what you said on the watch-along when you think it could have gone either way.
It's either or. They've both got hands on each other. They've both made contact. I'd say Lewis Skelly's definitely, there's a foul outside the box, but he manages to let go as it goes inside the box. It's a harsh penalty. It can go either way. But this ain't the first time, people can potentially look at a referee or VAR or PGMOL and have their moans and groans. At the end of the day, that didn't define the game for me, because, like I said, I needed to see a performance out of it. It's
I
not
think
necessarily the
I
result.
could argue that possibly it did, because
Yeah, but you didn't let me finish though,
Okay,
because I
sorry.
said it doesn't define it's the results separate. I wanted to see a performance, so I'm not up in arms and going mad over this penalty decision, because we're out of the league. The league is not the be all and end all, but everyone making it about that now, whether it was on the panel or whether it's on social media now or whatever. It's about our performance, especially that second half. It's not about that one moment where the referees again have probably made a decision that is a bit unfair. It's a bit harsh, you use the word. But at the end of the day, if I look in isolation at that decision, there was contact. We've seen penalties and free kicks given for less, and we've seen more not given. So there's inconsistency across the board there. But this result, the result, yes, but the performance doesn't, for me, go down to that decision. So I'm looking at it differently. All right, if this was, title race and we're trying to catch Liverpool and this is what's happened, then I'd focus more on that, because I'd be like, where's the 3 points? What happened that defined the result? Right. For me, I'm not going to be up in arms, because it's about the performance for me. Yeah. And all this, hoo-ha around it is going to detract from the performance, which wasn't good enough. But I guess you just got to brush it off now and move to Real. Whether we won 1-0 today, whether that penalty was given or not given, it ended how it ended or ended any different. Overall, I think, especially that second half, we wasn't good enough. So that is the bottom line for me. We wasn't good enough.
I hear that. The reason why I was saying that it was pivotal was because had it not been for that penalty, based on what I was watching at the time, I couldn't have seen Everton scoring. I really didn't.
Yeah, but you would have also said off the back of that first half, you would have seen us scoring more, especially with Saka and Martinelli coming on. It just doesn't work like that sometimes. You're right. I mean, aside from that, it didn't look like they was going to do or create anything. But when they got that goal, you saw that they was happy to protect that draw, that 1 point. So I don't know, man. It's hard to envision what could have happened if, buts and maybes. All I know is our performance in the second half wasn't good enough. Yeah. We got a setback. What did we do to recover from that setback? Actually, Everton had another chance as soon as they scored, where Raya had to make a save. So we didn't win that second half. I can't remember. Maybe Martinelli cutting in and forcing a good save out of Pickford. That was probably the highlight. We didn't do enough.
Yeah, you're right. Both teams didn't do enough. I think we can both agree that it was a very forgettable game, and that kind of leads me on to my next question, because that game out the way now, all eyes are focused onto Tuesday. Real Madrid come to town. It's the biggest game of the season for Arsenal. How do you think we're shaping up for that game?
Not great in terms of who we have personnel. Gabriel being out now, makeshift striker. If we're looking at it from that angle, not great. If we're looking at it from a performance angle, in my opinion, not great. But football's a funny game. 290 minutes, potentially 120 if it goes to extra time, but let's focus on the first 90. I've seen stranger things happen, but I give us 10-15% chance of making it through across the two legs, because of the situation we're in. It's not just the injuries, but even leading up to the injuries, we haven't been great this season. So put them things into a pot, and I can't be too optimistic about it. Let's see how the first 10 go, the first 20, the first 45, half-time, 90 minutes, and then I'll be better placed in terms of confidence or pessimism.
Team selection obviously is going to be a big talking point and a major factor. Is there anyone that's kind of played themselves in, or anyone that's played themselves out of contention?
No, who we got is who we got. I play Ben White, Saliba, Timber, Lewis Skelly either side. Midfield is the midfield. We haven't tried anything different, so it's Partey, Rice, Odegaard. And the attack is the attack, Saka, Martinelli, Marino. Because again, numbers are scarce, quality is limited.
And how do you think the manager will approach it tactically?
I don't know. That's what he's paid 15 M's a season for. I don't know. Because
well, how would you like to see him approach the game? Do you think you should go on the front foot, or do you think they should sit and let Real have the ball? How do you think?
We ain't got a front foot. We ain't got a front foot. So it's hard to say go on the front foot when we're struggling to do that against Leicester's and West Ham's of the world, let alone Real Madrid. at the same time, do you try soak it up and counter when our countering ability hasn't been quick enough, zippy enough to cause teams problems throughout? It's very difficult to see how we do it, because our best way of going about it is defensively resolute, solid, keep them out. But do we have what it will take in attack to win that sort of a game? The quality we need in attack. We all looked at Saka for that, but he's just returning off a big injury. So as much as he came back, hit the ground running against Fulham, you saw him come on today and probably have more of a game that you expect to see when someone's coming back from such an injury and operation. So yeah, optimism is it has a ceiling for sure. But yeah, we have to first and foremost make sure defensively we are as resolute as we have been without Gabriel. That's the first task we have to, because if we're not outscoring Real Madrid if we're going toe to toe with them. That's for sure.
I was just checking online before the interview, and again, there's been some concerns being raised online about the lack of form, to put it mildly, concerning Martin Odegaard. What's your opinion on Martin Odegaard at the moment?
I've said enough. He hasn't been good enough. Expect to see better. Tired of talking about him, to be honest.
Would you make a change there? Some people are suggesting. I mean,
What
I know
change
it was
can he
mentioned.
make?
Well, some people were saying Ethan Wanyeri in the
Too
number
late for
10.
that. You try that before the game. You don't try that on the game. So Arteta ain't done it, so that's it. We ain't got that option.
Okay, and just finally, I mean, I know it's Tuesday. I know we're in the immediate aftermath of this game, but do you see a way that Arsenal can get a win in this first leg?
No.
Well, that was short and sweet, but you answered the question.
I don't know. You wanted the longer answer.
That's right. Right, thank you.